Good morning, Bucknutters. It's Thursday, June 15th, 2017. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change, coming to you from a relatively clear and humid Gem City. Mr. Steve Wiltfong joins us. It's Thursday, Director of Recruiting for 24/7 Sports. What is the weather like in the fine city of Indianapolis?
Good morning, Daniel. Storms last night, rainy a little bit the last 2 days, but we really needed this for my grass, man. It was starting to tint yellow, and so I was having to get out the sprinkler. Had my 2-year-old running through the sprinkler. That's good, cheap fun right there. But everything's good here on my end, man. I already drank a whole smoothie and ready to talk Buckeyes recruiting. How about you, brother?
I was just really waiting to hear about the smoothie, so now we can go on with our day. Since we want to thank Urban Meyer and Company. Every week, it seems like for the past month, Steve and I get started and we talk about a commitment. This time, it is Master Teague, the running back who committed on Sunday. The interesting thing about Master Teague, and we've talked about him plenty, is that his overall rating would not reflect the interest Ohio State showed in him. And the 24/7
or
Sports,
Clemson or Georgia or Auburn or yeah, I mean, he was a top target for a lot of people, and I think we have him too low. But for the life of me, I have no idea how anyone could have this young man who, if he walked into Ohio State's running backs room right now, would be the most impressive looking guy in the room, who has ran, and I know it's handheld, but has ran outstanding at Alabama and Ohio State back-to-back weeks, who's incredibly athletic, rushed for over 2,000 yards as a junior. How he's a 3-star. I mean, just roll the dice on a 4, you know. I mean, but it looks like we're the outlier at 24/7 Sports still. I could make an argument he's the number 2 running back in the country. That doesn't mean I think he's the number 2 running back, but he's in the mix. I do think he's a top 10 for sure, top 5. Feel strong about. I think he's a outstanding prospect, a big physical running back that can pull away from people in the open field. And he's a guy that was recruited by the creme de la creme of college football. I think that, you know, those creme de la creme schools were in the Zamir White sweepstakes also. And, you know, so Zamir is the consensus number 1. I agree with that. So I get why maybe at Alabama didn't put the full court press on Master Teague just yet, but I think he's a tremendous prospect. I find it funny that he's the lowest ranked guy in Ohio State's class when looking at the 24/7 Sports composite rankings, which includes Scout, Rivals, ESPN along with us. And I don't think he will be come National Signing Day.
Yeah, if you look at the rankings, the 24/7 Sports ranking has him as the 8th rated running back in the country, and the composite is 25. So it leads you to believe that the other 3 have him, you know, not as high as 8. So we shall see. Like I said consistently throughout this, look at the offer list. Really, Bama's the only team on there that hasn't pulled the trigger. I don't think the floor
and it's not just looking at the offer list. It's looking at where you're actually a take, because kids have offers where they're not a take. Or Master Teague could have taken any one of his scholarship offers there at the end. You know, Auburn wanted him, Georgia wanted him, and they're still in it for Zamir White. I hope I didn't call him Wendell earlier, because I almost just called him Wendell right now. Okay, but Georgia really wanted him. Tennessee, Auburn, and obviously Ohio State was where he wanted to go. Tony Alford really did a great job of keeping in touch with Master through the process and being up front with him and his family. And when you look at the 24/7 Sports recruiter rankings, every year it's a different guy at Ohio State. And right now, Tony Alford's sitting at number 2 in those 24/7 Sports recruiter rankings. He's got 4 commits, and he's in on several more.
hearing a lot of good things about Alford behind the scenes to echo that. Speaking of good news, Houston Griffith, the defensive back out of IMG, worked out at Ohio State, dropped his top 7, which really reads like, his top 7 reads like the endowments of these schools are strong. Ohio State, Notre Dame, Bama, Texas, Florida State, Penn State, Nebraska. When Nebraska's struggling to keep up with the group, pedigree-wise, you're in a good group. What's your vibe on Houston? For those who don't know anything about him, his father is Howard Griffith, former Illinois fullback and Big Ten Network regular. And Houston is at IMG. And Ohio State has obviously had a tremendous amount of success recruiting IMG. The latest on Houston, there aren't many crystal balls pointed his way.
Yeah, there's 9 crystal ball forecasts. There's 1 in favor of the Buckeyes, and you're talking to him because I think that's where he wants to go. And he camped at Ohio State this past week, and I think that when I was talking to him and his family at the the opening regional in the spring, I got the sense that Houston wanted to go to Ohio State and Crystal Balled the Buckeyes then, and I haven't heard anything to make me believe he doesn't want to be a Buckeye. Obviously, he's continuing to go through the process. Plans to make a decision during the fall. I'm going to see Houston this weekend. I'm going down to IMG. I fly down there tomorrow. I'm going to spend some time with Kevin Wright, the head coach. So I'm sure Teron Vincent's name will come up among others. Obviously Houston's looking at several schools. I should have an even better feel for it coming out of the weekend, but right now I'm riding with Ohio State.
I like Griffith a lot. I think I like him a little bit more than other people. I'm big on the NFL pedigree. You add in the fact that he's at IMG. To me, that's a nice combination of pedigree and preparation and guys who can hit the ground running. So when in doubt, I always like going to the pipeline schools. I'll take a kid from DeMatha or Glenville or St. Thomas Aquinas any day, just knowing that it may help me get the next guy. Speaking of the next guy, I don't have a great vibe on Jaiden Woodbey, safety, who had committed to Ohio State. I never felt great about it. Starting to hear whispers that he may not be as solid as once thought. What's the latest on Jaiden Woodbey?
I don't know how solid anyone could have really thought he was. A kid from California committing to Ohio State, and granted, I know they got Wyatt Davis out of the same school. But, Woodbey always had a different feel, and Wyatt went on a ton of visits. And obviously Woodbey likes Ohio State, but I think he also likes Oklahoma, and I think he likes USC, and, I think he's the type of kid that wants to take official visits, and, Ohio State's in on plenty of guys, so I could certainly see him not in the class come February. And in fact, I'm leaning towards him going to Oklahoma right now.
That makes more sense to me. It just seems like he's also one of those kids that wants to be recruited. Nothing wrong with that. But sometimes kids like that, when they commit early, are really just doing it for the fun of the commitment and then maybe aren't as committed as we thought. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. We appreciate Steve stopping by. Very busy day. Look for Steve on the Bill King Show today as well. And don't forget, Steve is headed down to IMG. So good Lord, what he's going to have next week. Have a good one, Bucknutters.
Appreciate it, guys. See you, Dan.